faces, so thank you all for coming. My name is Amy Reed. I'm the curator here at the museum, and we are very excited about our program today. And this is incidentally our last Remember One Club of the year of 2017, so a great way to go out. In November, it always falls on Black Friday, and that just doesn't work. We tried it one year, and thought that the lure of talking about riches would bring people in for Black Friday, but even that didn't. So, and then of course December is around Christmas. So we will be kicking it back off again in January with a whole new set of events and topics. January's, we are planning on having Kelly Huff, who is a NDJ photographer, and he was involved, or is involved with their military, the veterans interviews that they have posted on their website. And I think that they print in the paper some. He conducted all of the interviews of all the veterans there. And so that project, he's going to be presenting and talking about that, and hopefully getting a number of the veterans up here to share their stories as well. So I'm really excited about that. And that's in January. The fourth Friday of every month is our Remember One Club, and that will be January's coming up. So, but before January, we still have a lot going on. On October 28th, tomorrow, our cemetery tour. If any of you were signed up for those, we're going to postpone them. In case you haven't heard, it's supposed to rain. And so Krista is postponing those to November 4th. So if you do have tickets for those, then let us know afterwards, and we can make sure we mark it down as you've got the notice. And if you don't know about those, we do have flyers out back here on this table. She does in the fall and then in the spring fabulous tours of our city cemetery, telling stories about people you had no idea about, and they have fabulous stories of their lives, and sometimes it's how they died in weird and wacky ways, or sometimes it's really influential people in our community that have never gotten the spotlight that they deserved, and she does really in-depth research on that. So I highly recommend those. On November 11th, of course, is Veterans Day, and we will be participating. Of course, here at the museum, we honor our veterans every day. We have a great military gallery upstairs. But on the 11th, we will be participating in Marietta's Veterans Day Parade. I will actually be downtown at Atlanta's Veterans Day activities. Their focus downtown is World War I, and of course, we have quite the World War I story here with the soldiers from Camp Gordon who came up and did artillery practice over Council Mountain, and until they accidentally hit a farmhouse and some folks accidentally died. Yes, it's quite a story, and there are a lot more details than that. That's just it in a quick nutshell. But I'll be setting up a table and talking to people about that. And then Jan on the 11th will be at the Cherokee Heights Arts Festival, set up with a table selling these fabulous new books we have. That you can also get in our gift shop today. They make great Christmas presents. This is History in Focus. It's the newest, it's a publication by the Marietta Daily Journal, but they publicized it using a lot of the photographs that you've seen every week and every day in the paper over the last year and a half, but also new photos you haven't seen are in here. Krista and I helped edit it a little bit, but they mostly wrote it, and all the proceeds go back here to the museum. So we're very, very grateful for this, and we appreciate any of your support in purchasing this for yourself and all your friends. Let's see. Also, those who may know Brad Quinlan, he is a local Civil War historian. He has a new book coming out called Remember Me to All. It's on Vicksburg. We don't have it yet, but we will, and on November 7th, he's going to be doing a book signing here. Again, think ahead to Christmas presents. Book signing here at the museum November 7th, and at 7 o'clock that night, he will be doing a presentation on that. And finally, as if that wasn't enough going on around here, finally, one of our newest endeavors is called History 4.0. It is a in-depth immersion into history you should know. What we're doing is we're doing 4-week seminars on topics not usually covered, or not, at least here at the museum and in our community in general. We're going to start this off with Michael Thomas, who is a native Mariettan and new board member. I believe he just got voted onto our board here. He's going to be presenting on African American heritage and the Middle Passage. So we're going to be discussing that topic as it relates to our community and the world as a whole. And then next year I hope to do it twice a year. Next year I hope to do some on maybe women's history in the community and some other topics not normally discussed and highlighted. So, all right, let's get started with today. We have, of course, our topic is mayors of Marietta. And we have two of our former mayors, and of course our current mayor here with us today. We have Victoria Chastain, who was mayor from 1985 to 89, also the first female mayor for our city. We have Mayor Bill Dunaway, who served from 2002 to 2009. And then we have Mayor Steve Tumlin, who was voted in 2010 and still serves today. And I also, before I hand the mic over to them, I also have Marilyn Eastham in the audience. Here she is, whose husband served from 64 to 69. Is that right?
Actually, 64 to 85.
Oh.
Council and mayor.
We need to fix Wikipedia. Okay. Oh no, I'm sorry. I was reading after. I have 74 to 81, so we still need to fix it. And then, is Mary Frances Atherton here? There you are. Thank you for coming. So we have you as well for your father, yes, who served from 64 to 69. That's who it was. And we extend the invitation to a few other family members. I'm not sure if I see any here from other mayors, but if anyone should happen to come in, we'll certainly move the mic to them. So what I'd like to do is hand the mic over to our mayors sitting up here and get them to just kind of give a brief introduction and tell some memories of their time as they served our city. And then when they're done, we will pass it to some of the family members in the audience to share memories of their loved ones who are no longer with us, who served our community. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand this over to Mayor Dunaway. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We got 3 living former mayors here. Former mayor is not a good job category. While I was mayor, we lost 3 former mayors: Bob Flournoy, Dana Eastham, and Nancy. And so I really wasn't anxious to be a former mayor, to tell you the truth. But also, when I became mayor, I had one job to give 3 folks. One, my wife Dot, Doris Reed, who was my assistant, and Audrey Griffiths, who was in charge of public relations. And their job was to make me look good, and they failed. In fact, I wore Audrey out. She didn't make it all the way through 2 terms. And that's why I was mayor for 8 years. And real proud of the things the city got accomplished. I'm disappointed in some of the things I didn't get the city to accomplish. But I've been gone for so long now, it's like all your other members. The bad stuff fades. You remember the good things, and that's the way I look back on it. I was in the drugstore business and the restaurant business. And as mayor, I put in more hours than I did in either of those other 2, but most of those hours were voluntary. I mean, there's a lot of things you got to be at city council meetings, other committee meetings, other boards, but a lot of it is voluntary. When you put in long hours, it's voluntary. That's great. It was the first job I ever had. It was supposedly 5 days a week. But drugstores and restaurants are not 5 days a week. But I enjoyed it. I was in City Hall all the time. And it's probably the most frustrating, most rewarding job I ever had. It was just, and one thing the mayor's job did not teach me is patience. For 8 years, I tried to learn patience. And I was always constantly amazed by how fast things did not go. And plus the fact, but where do we mayor form go? The mayor really only has one person he's also that's his assistant. Because the city council we mayor form is the person that does everything. So you got to work with city council members. I will give an accolade, and I think others will agree with me. My biggest fear when I became mayor was that Bill Bruton would not stay there as city manager, because he is absolutely the finest manager in any business I've ever been associated with. He handles 600, 700 or 800 city employees, and public safety employees, their BLW employees. We got 60,000 residents, 20,000, 30,000 customers of electric power. Got a weird city council and a tough mayor. He keeps everybody happy. In those 8 years, I know he must have lost his temper, but I never saw it. He had good reason to lose his temper, but Bill Bruton has made my job so much easier, and I'm sure Thunder would agree with me on that one. But I can go into things that we did do. I guess the two things I'm known for is getting rid of fiber net and getting rid of a terrible management contract at the conference center. The city was losing over $1 million between those $2 million a year. And we got rid of those. It took longer than I wanted it to get rid of them. The last thing the city did was we passed a $28 million parks fund. And I will take some credit there because I did that in spite of the vociferous opposition of MDJ. I did not have that support of the city council. But it's paying off, so I enjoy it. A couple of the things I did, or the city did, we changed the tree ordinance. That doesn't sound like much. But we put in an alternative tree planting ordinance that if a business could not, for good fiscal reasons, could not meet the ordinance, they had to pay money into an alternative tree planting fund. And that's the reason, one of the reasons why you see all the landscaping, the square and everything else. A lot of that money went into Church Street and everything else. And like I say, and the Historic Preservation Board got changed. Mercifully, thank goodness we got it changed. And we now have historic districts. I saw in the paper this morning, a proposal did not make it, and it said that that ordinance is cumbersome. It is, but you should have seen it before we worked on it. It was miserable. And so, let me quit talking and hand this to Victoria, because she set the pace for all of us.
Thank you, Bill. Well, I'm more historic than they are because I started it as they did. But that is not to say that I'm older necessarily. At least one. I want to thank the History Museum first for having us and just for everything they're doing. Joe and I have been on one of the cemetery tours, and they are so much fun and so entertaining and informative. And also recently, we brought our grandson up here to see the museum, and Joe and I got so excited that the X-ray machine from Coggins it's up there. Yeah, and I couldn't wait to put my feet in it, but it's not plugged in or something. But that's great. The History Museum does such a good job. I started, I'm going to go back to my time on council because a lot of things overlap. You know, well, too, I didn't realize you could just be elected mayor, that you didn't have to be a city councilman first. But I ran for city council 40 years ago. It was late 70s, and sometimes people ask me why. Well, I'm real interested in historic preservation, and I got more interested when there was a move to put McDonald's on the square where the Strand is, and some of us worked really hard to be sure that that didn't happen, and it didn't happen. And I'm sure even Philip today I hope Philip today would say that he's glad that we have the Strand Theater, because Philip has turned into a preservationist. He's bought Ivy Grove, and I commend him for that. He's restoring it, and good for you, Philip. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, I was elected. Oh, one more Philip story. He was my opponent. He was my opponent that first time I ran. He was 18. Yeah. And anyway, I won the election, but I was the first female council person. We also elected the first black councilman. Hugh Grogan came on at the same time. And we worked with Dana at East Town. He was the mayor during those years. And one thing that we did was the new city hall. It was under construction when I was elected, but we moved into that. And it was important to me to write a bill that there wouldn't be smoking in the new city hall. And it was interesting. I went back to look at some of my scrapbooks, and it wasn't just a slam dunk. I mean, in today's world, you would just assume you wouldn't smoke in the new city hall, but it was pretty controversial because so many people were smoking back then. But that passed, and so we didn't smoke in the new city hall. Our city manager, Jack Crane, was a huge camel smoker. He had to go outside to do that. Okay, and then the other thing that I was real interested in, the city had never had a sign ordinance, period, not anything. And so that was kind of my project during those 4 years on council, and got one passed. And if you try and do something like a sign ordinance, the sign owners, the sign company owners come out in force. They, of course they don't want it. It's kind of like the NRA doesn't want gun control. The sign people did not want a sign ordinance, but we got one passed, and they sued immediately, and then it was tied up in court for a long time, but it finally was passed. Particularly, I didn't like the portable display signs. You know what I'm talking about, that people put out on trailers. So we don't. Do we not allow those?
No.
Still don't. Good. All right, that was kind of.
That hurt Dunway Drug Company, by the way.
What?
I said, not having those signs hurt Dunway Drug Company.
What So then, the next 4 years, I worked with Bob Flournoy, and that was a hoot. I mean, he was so much fun. He was a good mayor, and he was also so much fun to be around. And he was particularly fun during, some of you may remember, Masquerade. Audrey, I'm sure you must remember it. The Halloween on the square that we had a couple of years, it was just a huge deal. And Bob and I were in charge of judging the costume contest. And there's so many creative costumes. And Bob just kept insisting on that we give the first place prize to Elvira, if you remember Elvira, the kind of sexy witch. Yeah. And then we finally had to quit having Masquerade because it got totally out of hand. It was huge. And one Sunday morning, the good people of First Methodist Church arriving at church, there were people asleep in the bushes. So we decided no more Masquerade. During these 4 years, the Clean City Commission got going, and I think that's just been a real positive thing. We also, I failed to mention before that, during the East Town era, downtown redevelopment was really taking off, and things were happening, and Harrison Merrill blew into town. Some of you all may remember him. And he was kind of like the music man. He just, well, we're sitting in a building that he did. He renovated this hotel and Marietta Station, and the Smith House was here for a while, and we all enjoyed that. But then we had to redo Glover Park. It was a huge project, and it was an expensive project, and we had to ask for money. And I'm not so good at that, but Bob Flournoy invited me to go with him to ask John Williams for money for the park. And I said, sure, okay, sure. So we're driving over there, and he said, well, how much do you think we should ask for? And I said, well, maybe 25,000. And he looked at me, he goes in there, and he said, you know, just ask right off the bat for $250,000. And he got it. And we had, Joanne Woodward contributed, and then there were a lot of little donations as well. And we got that done. Then I decided, well, maybe I should run for mayor. And I did. And I had not such a strong opponent. Connie McBerry, his campaign was, he dressed up like a big chicken. So I was elected, and we completed Glover Park during those 4 years, and we completed the loop around Marietta. And I don't know what we would do about that loop. I mean, it's been really good for our traffic control. We did some other things. I can't say that we weren't without conflict, but we were having problems with the police department, and that started in the Flournoy years and continued after I was gone. It was just an ongoing situation that was unfortunate. And we changed city managers. Jack Crane retired or changed jobs, and I'm often jealous to think how much easier my job would have been if I'd had Bill Bruton as a city manager. That would have been great. Okay, now that's it. I've got a bunch of, I'm taking too much time. I'm going to stop with one little story about a school class that came to visit, and actually it was Cub Scouts, and they were in my office, and I was talking to them, and this little boy, his hands just going like that, and I said, yes. And do you have a question? He said, yes, Mayor Chastain, where do they keep the electric chair?
Be hard to follow. I've enjoyed sitting by two friends, and even our parents were friends of both of these going by. And that's the way I looked at my role as Marietta. I've been president of a lot of civic organizations, and your time as trustee as mayor is, to me, President Kwan's president of the PTA. It's kind of the same thing. And I want to go one step farther than Bill. He mentioned Bill Bruton, and so did Victoria, but we have 700 great people that work for this city, and you can see it every day. And part of my job, I stole this from Connie, I like being the sidewalk mayor. The best thing I can do is stay out of my police chief's hair, my fire chief's hair. We've had very little turnover. We're losing our fire chief after 40 years. Did us a great job, and we'll have another one come soon, but we've had a lot of stability. And I think the weak mayor system is good. Just since some of y'all mentioned, I see the two Goldstein, the Philip Goldstein, the elder, and the Goldstein, the younger, are with us today. It's good. Since Vicki mentioned McDonald's, the paper enjoys when Philip and I are having a dialogue with the opposing people. They don't write about the 95% that we agree, and I'm thankful for that. And it's done. He's had an extraordinary service. And Joseph, you've got quite a legacy to come up with serving us, but my favorite battle with him was the height over so to swear. He might have forgiven you about McDonald's, but I don't know if he's.
Why? I'm sure he has.
But that was just those type of things you have to do. But this is a great city, and I want to talk about one irony. My friend Victoria was the mayor of leadership role, but yet in high school I served on the executive board with her husband was president of the student council. She bucked him and went on by. But it helps. I mean, what is, when I look back, it's still ever flowing. I've got 4 more years either undo the good I've already done or improve on the bad that I've done. But this has been an amazing community. If you look and you've seen it, we've had 20+ years of SPLOST. This community has let us invest in infrastructure like our divided highways, or just all these, and it took a long time to see it, and I've gotten some credit for it, but it took 20 years in the making. As Bill left me a good legacy, we started spending the park money. And you can see it with the county, it's not necessarily that easy to find it. We've been diligent to spend the $26 million. We have probably the best park system in the state of Georgia. You know, they gave us the money, and then we had to listen to the different ideas, and you'll see it with the last one that's going to come up on, I want to still call it Page Street with all due respect, but the list board is going to be the shrine, and Tumlin Park's a great one, Lewis Park has improved, so everywhere you go, you see a good park system with a lot of improvement. Probably the most innovative thing we've done on, when I was mayor, was selling the redevelopment bond. I see a lot of people in the room that knew the Franklin and the Franklin Road, and it was a little bitty pasture with a little bitty pottery on it 50 or 60 years ago, and it went to a young people's street, and then it went to a street that was probably 2 dens, and led to a lot of different things ago. But that was a fun bond to sell, that we were going to buy something for $4, put another $1 into it, and then turn around and sell it for $2. That was not an easy bond issue to sell, but then as things worked out by being ready, and that's what I think about the SPLOST and the Parks one, that Arthur Blank and his crew fell out of the sky. And soccer is definitely a good word. It's brought green space to that area. There are new parks, they part up for Harry Livingston. You know, it's bringing in 400 to 700 young people a weekend to play those tournaments, which means you've got a lot of families on Franklin Road that's going to make the street even evolve faster. And the Light of United is just going to get more popular. And there's 2 or 3 things that we're thinking about. If you think government's slow, when you're talking to a big enterprise, they want everything done before they'll announce it. So there's still going to be some major improvements on Franklin Road, and that helps our city out.